Recording. Here we go. Hey everybody. Hey guys, how you guys doing? Hey, Katie and I are trying this for the third time tonight. We're gonna try to podcast again because Ecamm.
It loves me.
Well, you know what it could be. It could be the fact that Ecamm keeps updating literally every time. Every time I turn on Ecamm, every podcast episode, it's like, hey, we now can Skype update, so we should update. So my gut is something somewhere updated.
Yep.
That's typically what happens. So if you're watching this and you can hear us, we would love it. It'd be wonderful if you could give us a thumbs up.
Yeah.
A heart reaction.
That would be great.
Sort of
can you hear me? That's the question. Because apparently you can hear Daryl just fine.
Just fine. I'm going to go back to you shared it over to the group, Katie?
Yeah, I'm doing that right now.
Yeah.
Okay. Apparently you can hear me now. So that's great.
All righty. Fantastic, folks. Yay.
I know. So much fun.
There we go. All right.
Okay, great. So let's talk. Welcome to the Church Communications Podcast with Katie and Daryl.
Yes. We're your hosts, Katie and Daryl, and we're excited to be here with you today. Today, our podcast is... Oh, you know what? I don't have to say it because we're not on Skype right now.
We don't have to talk about it. We're on BeLive because it is dependent.
Thank you, BeLive, for being dependable.
Yes, dependable, not dependent. What am I trying to say? I'm having a hard day.
No, we're dependent on BeLive. That's the problem.
That is the problem. We're going to I think we should just maybe just give them our money. We're trying to save money by using Ecamm, and it is failing us miserably.
We should just go old school going there. So, folks, we have some stuff to talk about today. Some of those things we're going to talk about are about Instagram, Facebook, and some stuff from the wonderful people over at the Pew Research Center, which do a lot of research because that's their name, Pew Research. So first thing we're going to hit on is our friends over at Instagram. And basically the story is that their lead product designer basically gave a kind of a, how so you could describe it, kind of gives you a behind the scenes on Instagram's feed ranking criteria. Basically, How does the news feed work?
How does it work? It's so mysterious.
But apparently it's not that mysterious, Katie, because they say it comes into three things: interest, recency, and relationship. Basically, the deal is interest. Do they think you're going to be interested in it? How recent was the post shared? Which is interesting because I feel like that's not happening on the timeline that I deal with. And relationship, how close are you to the person who shared it? And so I guess that's based probably, Katie, I would assume it looks like it's on your interaction with that person. So in other words, if you comment on their stuff, you like their stuff, therefore they think you have a close relationship. So therefore they push that up higher in the feed. So once they do that, those are the three core factors. Again, those are interest, recency, and relationship. Instagram then has three additional signals that influence the ranking: frequency, how often you open Instagram, following. If you follow a lot of people, Instagram will pick from a wider breadth of authors so you might see less of any specific person. So it looks like it's multiple people versus not just one single person. And usage, how long you spend on Instagram determines if you're seeing the best posts during short sessions or digging deeper in its catalog if you spend more time in total browsing. So it looks like it doesn't give you like the deep dives on people's stuff unless you are probably, I would say, a power user, maybe the way to say it.
Yeah, it's funny. I don't spend a lot of time on Instagram. Do you?
I do not.
Well, the thing is, though, I do. I like to go through the stories, and I maybe do that at night.
Yeah.
I'll go through everything, and then that's it. I won't scroll through it during the day like I do on Facebook. I'll be on Facebook periodically throughout the day. Although I'm looking forward to, what we didn't put on the list of things to talk about? The Apple Developer Conference.
Oh, well, we're adding to the list now.
Maybe that's what I was going to tell you to add.
Yes, because they
there's stuff to talk about. So
yes, yeah, it's on the list now. We're good.
Okay, great. But because they're going to shame you into how much you're using apps.
Yes, that's true.
It's really funny because actually today I was just thinking about it. I was like, Apple created a phone for me literally just to be on Facebook.
Isn't that kind of like a drug dealer, though, shaming you for using the drugs they sold you?
Right. It really is. It's like saying, maybe you shouldn't do that. But I watched a really good YouTube video the other day, and we're going to hit on YouTube in a minute, too. And it was talking about how you should And I know I should. I've thought about this like a million times. I tried to practice the Amish hour for a long time, which is where you don't use your phone for an hour before bed. But then I started doing it again, and I don't know. So I think what I'm going to just have to do, and maybe I'll do this, in the future, is plug my phone up outside of my bedroom.
Yes, no, that's what I do. That is what I do. My phone is not in my bedroom.
Yeah, I think I'm just going to have to put it like away. And then in the morning, I think I need to give myself a full hour without it, like starting my day. Like not check it first thing, because that's like normally what I do. Like I'll sit 30 minutes in bed checking my phone. I'm like, Katie, every time I do that, I think, Katie, you have so much time throughout the day to catch up with all of these emails and to think about all of these things. Like you don't have to do it right now. And the first thing you do when you wake up, that's not adding to your like anxiety or making it better. You know what I'm saying? It's not making your anxiety better.
Do you? And I think I'd love to know from our audience as well. But do you feel like your need to check that is it based on being social with your friends, or is it two going, this is my job?
Both.
What's that? Yeah. So it is a mixture of both. Okay.
It's definitely both. Well, and I would say it's definitely 80-20. Like it's definitely 80% my job, 20%. I feel like I need to make sure that nobody messaged me or something in the middle of the night that needs something from me.
Yeah. No, I get that.
But yeah, I don't know. I just check it first thing, which is dumb. And I usually just end up watching like videos. Like I think I watched some like interview with like some celebrity or something this morning. Obviously it didn't matter to my life because I can't even remember what it was. So I should probably spend that 30 minutes instead working out, which I did for like a solid week. And then I fell off the train. See, habits are hard.
They are. You know what? Latest research says it takes 66 days actually now to form a habit.
Yeah, I know that they always said it was 21 or whatever. And I was like, I don't believe that for a hot second. Apparently, it takes a lot longer.
Apparently it's around like 66 now. That's what I'm learning. So there you go.
Yeah.
So anyway, folks, that's a rundown on Instagram and how their algorithm works. You can take it, use it, peruse it, and say like, wow, maybe it's something you could utilize for your church. Again, but as we've talked about, I think many times before on this podcast, more and more the people I talk to, less time in the feed, more time in stories is where they're spending their time. I think Instagram realized that as well. Second article we've got on Instagram.
It's still about Instagram.
But the interesting thing is it's also about the feed, and that is it looks like Instagram is going to possibly let you start posting videos that last longer than up to an hour. Long form clips of up to an hour. So
that means you can put your whole sermon on Instagram soon.
Yes. Think about that.
Yeah, that seems very strange because Instagram's not made for long form content. No. Like I'm not ever like gotta watch that video on Instagram. Like I gotta watch that lecture.
Yeah, because are you going to be able to like hit a button and then expand it on your phone and then turn it sideways and get the full like nice horizontal view?
I don't know, because they're all about that square or the vertical. They're not about that horizontal life. So that's where I'm like, what does this mean? I mean, maybe they're just going to keep pushing the vertical horizon.
Vertical horizon. Yes.
Keep pushing the 90s band. Because I don't know. I feel like that's what they're going to, I don't know. That's a great question. Will they allow you to twist your phone now if they're going to have hour videos on there?
Yeah. I think about it. I think we mentioned this a little bit, and it mentions a little bit of this in the article. I think you and I talked about this before we went live. Was that I think this is a direct play at them taking a longer look at where young adults and teenagers are. It's a shot at YouTube, is what in my mind is. It is like because I think the rumor is that when they started this whole conversation, they actually went directly to creators who create long form content and say, "Could you create something for us if we offered you these tools?"
Sure.
And so. I think but the nature of that feed is such that you hit the button, you look at something, and you flip it up. I don't see somebody parking on something and watching it. I just, again, I hear you wrong. That's also true. You're trying to get somebody to go into the feed versus the stories, which again, we've talked about, we just mentioned stories is where it seems people are living, not so much in the feed itself.
Right.
So
I agree.
Yeah, it was interesting. This is probably what we're going to see a war, if you will, between a little bit of YouTube, but Instagram, Snapchat war of stealing features back and forth. And this is just another
Another part of it.
Another part of it, long line. Facebook, Katie, Facebook is expanding a new feature to Pages for all of us that have Pages.
Yep.
And that is the ability to fundraise from your page.
Yeah. So they've had fundraisers for a while.
Right.
I think that they're just like now finally allowing all pages to do fundraisers. So uh-oh. You've paused. Daryl. Uh-oh. Is it me? Well, we're going to clap here because that is the end of the podcast.
Hey, am I here? Can you get me now?
I got you now. Yeah.
Okay.
Oh, look. We lost 2 people. Oh, we lost so many people. I'm so sorry. We're back now.
We're back. Sorry. Yes, I had to reconnect the camera.
That's so sorry. It's fine.
Yes. So to recap real quick, let me back up real quick. So it looks like, according to Facebook, what it is that nonprofits can now start fundraisers for their own causes on their pages. And you can now add organizers to help manage the fundraising all inside of the page.
Yeah.
So there you go.
All right.
So I guess technically, like, we could do missions offering, or we could do offering, if you will, on the page.
Yeah. If they'll let us use Facebook's payment processor. If the business office will, you know what I'm saying?
Yeah. If your church will allow you to use the Facebook's
payment processing.
That is true. That's a great point. I didn't think about that. That always catches us off guard.
Yep, all the time. Can't use anything because payment processing we do not play around with.
Not at our church.
So,
all right, story number 4, Katie, is Pew Research. The wonderful people at Pew Research have basically their 2018 stats of what teenagers are using in regards to social media.
Yep.
So here's the deal. 95% of all teens have access to a smartphone. 45% say they're online pretty much all the time. I think that number's low. I think it's higher than that.
Mm-hmm.
But here are the 4 social media networks that they use. Number 4, let's start at the bottom. Number 4 is Facebook. Number 3 is Snapchat. Number 2 is Instagram. And number 1 is YouTube, with 85% of all teenagers saying they use YouTube, which is interesting. You and I were talking about that because I don't think of YouTube as a social network, but in some ways, I guess that's...
I don't. And I don't think of YouTube being like the thing that kids are on. I don't, you know what I'm saying? I think of Snapchat being the thing that kids are on, and it's the 3rd one on this list. You know, it's interesting. Instagram, Snapchat, they are neck and neck right here. So, like, really, either one of them, if they come out with a great product for like that demographic, like that generation, they're going to pull ahead. It's like MySpace and Facebook, right? Like for the longest, MySpace was winning, right? Because like it had colors and stuff. I don't know. And then I don't know how Facebook pulled ahead there. Like I guess it was less messy, I guess, and more organized, and that's how they pulled ahead.
Oh, you started with Facebook versus MySpace?
Yeah, like they innovated more, so that's how they won. So I think Instagram, Snapchat are very much in that MySpace versus Facebook at the very beginning phase. Yes,
I think that's a great way to phrase it. I think the interesting thing is what I'm finding from young adults and teenagers that I talk to in regards to Snapchat is for them, it's all about that one-to-one relationship. They snap back and forth with their friends. And so therefore it's a one-to-one, whereas Instagram is the one-to-many. Like I post it and everybody sees it.
Right.
So I don't think they think of them. They don't think in their minds. I think Snapchat and Instagram feel like they're competing, but I don't think teenagers or young adults look at them in the same way.
Yeah.
But you're right. There is a competition there. I definitely think the YouTube thing to me is not surprising when I talk to more and more people who are young adults who that is literally where they're getting all of their content, their entertainment is from YouTube. They just like, they're going, like you mentioned in the morning, what do? You're getting up and you're checking your channels. I think a lot of them literally get up in the morning and they just scroll YouTube until they've got to physically go get up and go do something. I think that's what they do.
Yeah.
I think that's their entertainment. All right, last story, last but not least, is WWDC, the Worldwide Developers Conference that Apple puts on.
Yeah.
Yeah, so that happened this week, and they spent a good amount of time, Katie, talking about how you should be on your phone because
pretty much. It's ruining your life.
It's ruining your life. Which, by the way, here's all the new features we're going to put on the device that is
tackling phone addiction.
Yeah. So
yeah, they created a disease and they're trying to solve it.
Yes, they are. Which I think is kind of interesting. I did see, I thought the features on the phone and the new things they quote unquote offered. I think if you look at a couple of different companies that are probably going to be out of business soon, one of them is House Party. The idea that you could call all your friends at the same time via your phone and have a giant video chat. Now that FaceTime can do multiple people, that's going to be interesting. But
FaceTime can do multiple people now?
Yeah, you'll be able to do up to 32 people.
32 people on FaceTime?
I think that's what the cap was.
That is nuts.
Yes, and your image kind of gets smaller and bigger as you talk.
It's going to be great if FaceTime could go to Facebook.
FaceTime to Facebook. Yeah, that will be interesting.
I don't know. I'm just saying, somebody out there invent it.
Yeah, I think if you could pull that off, that'd be fantastic. You'd give Skype a run for its money. Right. But I think going back to the thing is Google. Google did the same thing at their conference. They had this whole well-being. I want to say, I can't remember what they called theirs, but they had their own version of this where it said, "We're going to tell you how long you've been on an app. We're going to tell you all of these things."
Right.
And so I just don't. It's interesting because here's the conflict we deal with is if you look at we've talked about this before, you look at all the research across the board in terms of people using social media, and every single one will tell you the more time you spend on it, the less mentally it's not good for your mental health.
Right.
So how do you rectify that, Katie, with the fact that people it's your job and people are going to be on these platforms? So how do we rectify? Are we feeding an addiction by putting our stuff on those platforms?
Ooh, that's an interesting question. Are we feeding addiction? Wow.
I
don't know. That's a great question, and I think that's something to really take serious. Because our stuff's not viewed enough, I think, to be considered addictive. If we started having thousands of views, maybe.
Right. Our church is not popular enough to be an addiction.
Yeah, it's not viral enough to be an addiction, which is so funny, right? Viral, addicted. I don't know. These things, I don't know, make sense. Yeah, but at the same time, people are on it, so you don't want to not be on it. You don't want to not have a presence. You don't not want to be where the people are.
Right.
So that's kind of, and then obviously too, people, I think, what was it? So, I was reading some facts or whatever, and it said 50% of people find, a new house online. They find it through a thing. And I'm and they're also finding a new church probably that way too. I don't have verifiable facts on 50% are finding their church online, but it's probably true. They're looking for it that way. So if you move to a new area, it's probably, just what people do. So it's,
But I think there's a difference there because you're just going to Google that, right? You're going to be
right, but I will Google it and go to the website, but I will also probably go to their Facebook page and Instagram and just look at the real life.
Oh, yeah,
you know what I'm saying? Your website is your front door. Right. And I think the page, I've said that the group is like a living room, but I think the page is almost more like a living room. It gives you a little more earthy. I don't know. Maybe a group is more like a kitchen, everybody's hanging out and eating, If
that's the case, Twitter's my garage. Don't go
Twitter is totally the garage. Just a bunch of white dudes hanging out. 40-year-old white dudes just hanging out doing nothing. That is what Twitter is, arguing about politics and crap.
They're listening to the garage, talking about their glory days and politics.
Talking about the glory days and what things could have been like.
So if you look at social media, if you look at your digital presence like it's a house.
Is Twitter even on that list that we just talked about for teens?
They are on the list, but it's pretty low.
Pretty dismal for the teens.
It's below Facebook. It's at 32%. And
32%.
And I think that's a bit like behind. We got people right now in the chat room.
That said something about they heard college people were doing
Twitter, yeah, and I think Twitter is one of those things where like I
probably
think
because like their professors on it or something.
yeah, and
You know,
Twitter, in my
not
opinion, goes in waves. Like if it's
yeah.
a bowl or big national events.
Yeah, like something cool will happen on Twitter and everybody will be on it again. Like they'll be like, "Oh, the president said something," or like, "Oh, Beth Moore tweeted something." You know what I'm saying? Like it'll come and go like as like people do something on it, like celebrities. So I feel like celebrities are keeping Twitter alive. Once they start announcing stuff on a different platform, it'll go somewhere else.
No, that's a really great point. I thought somebody gave me a pretty good piece of insight in regards to, and I think you really more in my mind applies to Twitter in regards to is that if whatever it is really doesn't affect your life, doesn't affect what you do, it doesn't really affect your community in a really tangible way, like most of the stuff that President tweets doesn't really affect you in that sense, then you need to avoid that as much as possible and really focus on the stuff that really actually affects your church community. And to me, that's where like Twitter to me has probably more or less lost its value, is the fact that the content doesn't do that.
So Daniel's step here, I just want to, sorry, he brought up a good question. What is the best way we as a church can use the influence of social media to spread the gospel, which is very important. We're pretty serious about that.
Yeah.
And I think the best way you can do is to use it as a way to start conversations, if that's possible. To start conversations, not just online, but things that can translate to offline. So asking questions like, how can we be praying for you? And then intentionally making sure you're going back with each of those people and praying with them, either via message or posting the prayer back to them. Because people don't pray with people anymore, right? Like that is like unheard of.
No, I think you bring up a great point, Katie. I think one of the things that I think I'm pretty passionate about when it comes to this is I think starting digital conversations are fantastic.
But also taking them offline. You know what I'm saying? It needs to start there, but I think we need to translate it from one place to the next.
And the reason why I think you have to take it offline is, and again, I think if you talk to most social scientists, they'll confirm this, is that there is something inherent about a face-to-face conversation that you can't, even you and I right now, we're talking via Be Live. And while this is a real conversation, you and I probably would be even more in depth and more animated if we were sitting across the table from each other having this conversation.
I don't know. I'm pretty honest with you on the internet.
That is very true. Harry Potter fan for life. But there's something about taking that and taking somebody to a coffee shop or sharing a meal. I mean, we talk about this. Jesus has his best conversational moments when he's sharing a meal.
Right.
There's a reason for that. You break down those barriers and you can have a level of depth that you just really can't have online.
Yeah, I do think you can have really great relationships online. Right. I don't want to not say that you can't, because I have plenty of great relationships through through our group, with people like Kenny and Chad Hudgens, people that I talk to on a daily basis, Seth and Adam. I mean, these are people we've hardly ever met, but have really great relationships with. But at the same time, we've all met in person at some point.
Yes.
So face to face is just important. It's just really nice, and I think God called us to kind of live like that. But setting up those spaces where you can have those intentional conversations via social media is really important. So doing sermon clips, asking questions that are very intentional, sharing special moments of worship, and making it shareable for your congregation so that they can have those conversations with their friends is, I think, what you should do, is try to make spaces where your congregation can have those conversations with other people.
Yeah, I agree. All right, Katie, let's dive into some stuff here that we want to, quote unquote, as we like to say, lift up.
We're going to lift this up.
Yes, we are. So we got a couple different things on here. The first one is actually something I put on here. It's a book that I think is a really good read. It's called Peak: It's Secrets of the New Science of Expertise. Have you ever heard the adage of you need 10,000 hours to become an expert in something? Yeah. This is the book. This is the scientist who basically came up with that. And he kind of, in some ways, debunks it. It's a thing that he came up with that he will tell you was taken out of context, and he actually walks you through what it takes to be an expert at something and what those 10,000 hours actually really mean. So it's a really good book. He kind of walks you through, like, here's what it's going to take. If you want to be really, really good at something, this is what's really going to take for you to do it. And this is based off of the science that we've shown. So again, it's a good read. If you want to get good at something, read the book. It'll tell you how. Number 2 is something that actually won an award at the WWDC, won a design award, and that is called Agenda. Katie, you've been playing with it. You said
I'm so confused. Okay. I think I can figure it out. I just haven't sat around trying to figure it out. Right now, I live in Apple Notes. I never thought that I would live in a note thing ever in my life. Not Evernote or anything. I just didn't like any of it.
I don't know how you do that in Apple Notes. I don't know how you live in that thing.
Oh, gosh, yeah. My entire life's in Apple Notes. I just search, and then I have folders set up. So I have, folders set up for, different, ChurchCom, Brentwood,
do that.
And then I just search across all the notes. So I type in keywords to make sure. So I'm like, okay, I got the Wi-Fi password saved in there. So I just search Wi-Fi, and I find it.
That makes sense. Yeah, well Agenda basically it's kind of like a mismatch of, Apple Notes, but Apple Notes tied to events. So when you have an event, you can then turn around and you can create an agenda, it links to it. And then the cool thing is, if you open up your normal Apple Calendar app, there'll be a note in there. You click it, and that takes you back to the agenda app and open up the agenda that you planned for the meeting. So it's nerdy, but I like it a lot. And then last but not least on my list is I've been playing with Dropbox Paper. If you have a Dropbox account, you also have a Paper account. And Paper is kind of like their version of Google Docs. Katie, is that probably an accurate way of saying it? Yeah,
for sure.
Yeah, and so I really like it. It's really simple, very, 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 very clean, and so I've really enjoyed it. It's really, really good. So, yeah. So those are the 3 things I got. You got anything you want to lift up?
I was just sitting here trying to think of something, and I'm like, I have nothing. But
Well, don't sweat it. Well, folks, that is it for today's episode. If you want to do us a huge favor, you can like this on Facebook. If you're watching on Facebook, you can also share it as well. If you're on YouTube, hit the big red subscribe button. If you're on iTunes, hit a subscribe. Do a review. Yeah, or leave us a review. We would love that. Review us. We'll take all the reviews we can get. So until next week, we hope you guys have a great week. Start enjoying your summer. Next week, Katie will give us a report on what it's like to be the crying lady in our local VBS, which she is playing this week. So we're excited to see how that's going to go.
Can't wait.
We'll give you a report and give you an update on that. Until then, you guys take care. We'll talk to you soon. Bye.
Bye, dear.